This video was sponsored by Squarespace. Okay everyone, in today's video I'm going to share a few super simple things that I'm planning to do during this time of year, this holiday season, to reduce the amount of waste that I produce. So let's get into it. So first things first, I want to show you a few ways that I plan to wrap gifts this year. If you watch my gift guide video, you know that I'm not doing a ton of gift giving, but these are just some examples of ways that I like to wrap really all year round. So as you can see here, I probably wouldn't gift just like 3 sparkling water bottles in a present, but they're just placeholders, okay? Stay with me here. I just want to show you I needed something tall and slim to fit in this little basket. So this is just a scarf that I'm pairing with this really cute little red basket that I picked up at an estate sale, and I think it's really sweet. At first I was like, Nick, are people gonna think I'm weird for wrapping a present this way? But I think for the right person it can be really sweet. It looks like a little purse and definitely just like the perfect little gift, so I love that. I also love just wrapping with scarves in general. These are some from my personal collection that I probably wouldn't give away in a gift to someone unless it was like my sister that I could just like snatch it back from without feeling bad about it. But I just wanted to show you, for the purposes of this video. So obviously I didn't invent wrapping gifts in fabric. I think it's called furoshiki. I'm hoping that I'm not pronouncing that horribly wrong, but I'll leave links to where it originated from and more resources about it in the description for you. I feel like when you give someone a gift that's wrapped this way, it kind of opens up the conversation organically about why you're wrapping this way and, reducing waste and things like that. It's like a really easy starter conversation in my experience. So I think that's really important, and also it's just super beautiful and elevated to wrap this way. You could easily find some really inexpensive, beautiful scarves at an antique store or a thrift store and, theoretically use them over and over again. So I think that's really special and beautiful. So speaking of buying something once and using it over and over again, if you've watched any of my past Christmassy videos, you've probably seen this little metal gift box before. I use this box and this Star Wars ribbon pretty much every year for Nick's present, and if his present doesn't fit in it, I'll like put candy in it or something. My one regret with thrifting this box is that I wish that I thrifted a square or rectangle box, because I'll admit tying ribbon on this and making it stay is difficult because it's circular and the ribbon doesn't want to stay on it, but somehow I figure it out every year and it works out. This box is great because obviously it's a box, so when I'm storing it with my, little box of Christmas decorations, I can store ornaments in it or cards or whatever, and it's easy. It's a storage box in itself, so it's easy for me to keep with all of my other Christmas decor. And then to just really hammer this point home, I wanted to share these boxes that I actually got from items that I featured in my gift guide, so I'll link that above for you if you haven't seen it. I am adding this little tiny sprig of rosemary on top. If I were more prepared for this video, I would have asked my neighbor to cut off large pieces of rosemary from her rosemary tree, because I think that using natural materials on top of gifts like rosemary or cedar branches or whatever is just so gorgeous, and I feel like people are so impressed by it, and it obviously smells so good too. So I highly recommend decorating with natural materials. Speaking of decorating with natural materials, we're moving on to dried orange garland. Oh, there goes the orange onto the floor, but we got it, we're good. So I've been doing this for years. I obviously didn't make this up either, but I do have a really embarrassing old video of me making this from like 2016 or something, so I'll link that if you'd like to watch it. But basically, you just cut the oranges really small, try to get them as even as possible. I'd say like 1/4 of an inch is a great place to start. If you have a mandolin, I highly recommend using that as well, so that they're all even and they cook evenly. But basically you're gonna dehydrate these. So I use my oven at like 200 or a little bit over 200 Fahrenheit. But if you have a dehydrator, dude, go with the dehydrator. I made this for my sister's bridal shower a couple years back, and we used a huge dehydrator to make it all. And it was so easy because obviously you just set it and forget it. You don't have to keep checking it and flipping it. I think we did flip them once with the dehydrator, but even if you don't have a dehydrator, you can easily do this in your oven. I will say, if you don't like the scent of oranges, if you don't like how oranges smell, I wouldn't recommend doing this because it's gonna fill your whole house up with the smell of like warm oranges baking. I think that's really cozy and nice, but if you don't like oranges, then this probably isn't the craft for you. So you're just gonna bake them until most of their moisture is out. You're gonna flip them a couple times, just keep an eye on them so they don't burn. And when they're done, they're gonna look something like this. And then you can do a lot of different things with them. You can put them on top of gifts. I've done that in the past. You can poke one hole in them and string them as little ornaments on a Christmas tree or hang them in a window. For this video, I'm making just like a more traditional garland. So as you can see, I poked 2 holes and then just put some baker's twine through it. The baker's twine made it look a little bit like Halloween, but once I added the cranberry garland to it, I feel like it had much more of a Christmas vibe, which is what I was going for. So speaking of the cranberry garland, I had leftover cranberries from making cranberry sauce, so I just strung them on floss. Actually, I didn't even have thread, and it was so easy, and I feel like it's such a cozy, cute look. And then I can just compost all of this when I'm done with it, which is great. This is my little vintage needle set that I got in an estate sale, and I think it's so funny because I think it was like a promotional thing from a bank back in the day, but it's so handy to just have like embroidery needles and all the little tiny ones in this little packet. I love the variation of the colors of the cranberries, from really bright crimson to sort of more deeper burgundy. I think it's so pretty. Again, you can put these on a tree, you can hang them in a window, you can really do anything you want with them, and they're just so festive and fun. So now I wanted to show you some of my favorite secondhand Christmas ornaments. So I recently got that one at an estate sale in Cambria, which is kind of fun because it's like a little beach town and it's like a little Captain Santa. These red baubles were actually Nick's great aunts, and they're so, so special to us. This one was also from that estate sale in Cambria. So obviously my style isn't for everyone, but even if you don't like vintage Christmas stuff, there are so many secondhand new holiday decorations on places like Facebook Marketplace or OfferUp. You can find so much stuff, and you're shopping at, a discounted price and utilizing things that are already made and already in the waste stream, which is something that I talk about a lot. So I highly recommend shopping secondhand before buying new. Another thing that I did this year doesn't really have to do with waste, but it has to do with energy, and I just wanted to make sure that all of our bulbs were LED because they're so much more energy efficient than like the traditional incandescent ones. So I made sure to swap out all of our bulbs, including our Christmas decor, to LED. This little strand of LED twinkle lights has served us well over the years. We actually use it when we camp in our tent, and it's really fun too, but I think it's so great because it's so small and easy to store. And even if you don't have a tree or any like big decorations, you can just take a little strand of lights like this and put it, like I'm doing here, on the wall or on a bookcase, and it just adds such coziness. And again, the LED lights are much more efficient than traditional. Another thing that I'm trying to remember to do more is unplug things when I'm not using them, because even if they're off, they're still pulling energy. Bundling up efficiently before turning on my heater or space heater is something that I also do this time of year because it saves energy from being used and it saves us a ton of money too. So I hope you enjoyed this little peek into my holiday setup. I say holiday because I've had my Christmas tree up since early November this year, but I hope you enjoyed, and thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Squarespace is an all-in-one platform that you can use to build your dream website, blog, online store, or portfolio. The thing that I really love about Squarespace is that they make making beautiful websites attainable for people that don't have design degrees or coding insight or knowledge. You don't need any of that to make a beautiful and professional website. All you need to do is choose from one of their thousands of designer templates, customize it to your liking with their drag and drop editor, and you're done. It's going to be beautiful and professional and automatically optimized for mobile use, which is so important, and you don't have to figure any of that stuff out on your own. So if you'd like to give Squarespace a try for yourself, you can go to squarespace.com/allicherry for your free trial, and when you're ready to launch, 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.